Howdy, y'all. I'm Mr. Holga.
And I'm Todd Puckett.
And I'm Riley from Riley's Camera Repair.
And this
All right.
is Don's Used Photo Equipment.
Yeah.
Right here in front of, say it with us,
Yep.
the Great Wall of Film.
Yep,
Boy,
yep.
we need to practice on that one.
Well, we
So-
did fine.
So guys, extra special guest today. As a matter of fact, Todd and I have been talking about Riley for quite some time.
All good things.
All good things, right? And here we are. We've finally
We
right
have 'em-
here in the store.
Yeah, right here. Now, why?
Why? Why are you
Why?
why are you in the store?
I just came to help, a
There
friend
you
out.
go.
It came
From
out.
Houston.
Yeah,
From
so
Houston.
so if you haven't noticed right away, this Great Wall of Film looks completely different. It's
For a
not
reason.
it's not going to be the metamorphosis of what the Great Wall of Film is supposed to be, but it is clearly in a new location, right?
Yes. It's has a different housing container.
Different shelves,
Different
it's on a
shelves,
different wall,
different
it's on
wall.
different carpet. As a matter of fact, Todd, what is the address? We are at the new location.
320 Regal Row, Suite 400. We didn't go out of business.
No.
We just moved.
No, you did
And
not
here's
go out
where
of
we're
business. As a matter of fact, as we keep mentioning it, if you're at Community Brewery and you think to yourself, I need film, it's the same distance, just 2 miles over here. Come
Yeah.
get something from the largest collection of film in Dallas, right here.
Well, probably most of Texas.
Most of Texas.
Yeah. We're just going
Any film at your place?
I try to focus on camera repair.
Oh, you
I was like-
but you're all the way down in Houston, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're competing with Todd that much, right? Come on.
No. A little bit of history on this then. A long time ago, somebody kept telling me, he said, there's a store that does repairs in Houston,
Okay.
Riley's Cameras. And you were located, was that your first
It was
location?
inside an antique mall, yeah.
Yeah.
And one day Todd just showed up with like 5 boxes of
5 boxes?
just
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
partially working, somewhat working cameras.
Yeah.
And
And
I really, to this day, I still take parts off of some of the cameras that I got from him,
That's exactly
Yeah,
what I
years ago,
wanted
so.
to do was I had a bunch of cameras. You did repairs. You needed to have things to fix and to take parts off of. And I'm sitting there going, okay, this is a great combination. I will get rid of some stuff. Someone will be able to use it.
Right?
Bingo.
It is a great combination. So Riley's our guest today. Riley, please tell us how you got into repairing cameras.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
did you just pick it up as fun of it, or what?
It's a little complicated, I guess. I used to be a machinist and a welder, and
Welder. I
Yeah,
didn't know
and
that, yeah.
I also used to work on cars, specifically engines. But and so I'm all around mechanically inclined.
You like tinkering on stuff, right?
Yeah, and cars.
What was the first
takes
time?
up too much space
Yeah.
and money, and
So what was the first time you picked up a camera and went, what's inside?
Honestly, I don't know. Now that I think about it,
It was
you don't
so-
really think about that.
So
kind of thing,
long
so-
ago that it's like.
All right,
I
wait, maybe
don't
this is
know.
an easier one. What was the first camera you fixed?
Fixed? Man, properly fixed, it was probably like the frame counter of a Pentax 6.7. And so I
Yeah.
went for the hardest thing to begin
That's
with.
pretty good,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I had.
But okay,
Oh,
what's funny though is that when you say a long time ago,
Timber.
I mean, you're probably half the age of us.
Right, yeah. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
So a long time ago is like, what? That's not long ago. Right?
Riley's a kid compared to these
Oh yeah,
two old folks right here. So
a youngster, and
Youngin'.
and what blew my mind is I'm sitting there watching the videos that you do or the Instagram stories that you put up, and I'm going, you just took apart a Rolly
yeah.
and put it together again. Wow,
So-
that was impressive.
So I'm sorry. Did you
a-
have a date as to when you think you started? I mean, how long ago?
Yeah, right after I got out of the Army, so that was 20...
In the Army too.
Oh my God,
2020?
Be all
Yeah.
you can be.
there you go.
20 what? 20 what?
2022.
2022, okay.
Not that long ago.
So you haven't been
2020.
2020. You haven't
We
been
don't
fixing
say the
cameras
word,
that long.
yeah.
Yeah, still not that long ago.
No,
like-
it's not. But still, about how many cameras do you repair? I hate to put a number. I mean, are you repairing lots of cameras, or is it just onesies and twosies? I mean, is this a full-time gig? I mean,
Yeah, it's full time. Now I'm only open 3 days a week just so I can focus on
Yeah.
the repairs all the other days of the week, right? I get no days off. But yeah, I do have a record of like actual repair intakes, but I do so many on the spot repairs. Like people just come in,
Oh, and it's
I
simple
fix
fixes.
it, name your
Yeah.
price, and so who knows how many cameras I fixed by now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I know another repair lady in New York, Sharon Crowder. She does
The
Leicas.
Leica M5, yeah.
Yeah, and she just, it's amazing because so busy, works at night because if works in the day, just phone calls constantly. So,
Yeah, so.
Works in the night so they don't no interruptions. And there is so much work. Now, how would you say that the analog community in Houston is? I mean, Dallas has got, I think, a very robust,
I would say so.
Analog
Yes,
community.
there's quite a few film shooters here. Yes.
a lot, and there's a lot of groups and photo walks
Yep.
and things like that, and dark, was it dark
There-
room?
there are dark
photo
rooms.
labs. How's Houston doing in that?
It's fairly, well alive, but I think the biggest downside is that just, Houston traffic. You
Oh.
really don't want to go
Oh yeah,
anywhere.
I've
And
seen
so-
I've seen the meme. Houston is an hour away from Houston.
It really
I've seen
is.
that. So
Yeah.
So-
It's like LA in that
So
regard.
getting together is a little tough,
and weekends
so-
are not any better.
oh no
It's a
no
little better.
not in Dallas either. I mean,
Oh,
you see the
now.
traffic in Dallas. I imagine it's worse in Houston.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think Houston's really bad.
So what's your favorite camera to repair?
My favorite camera to repair. That's a tough one because
See, I thought it was always Olympus's, but you said no.
No, it'll almost always be. I mean, my favorite will be Nikon, despite their policy on repair.
Oh, so
Um,
you just went up a notch in my book. He appreciates the Nikons.
The
Like
Nikons,
I do too.
Nikons,
Yeah.
yep.
And there's a certain era of Minolta stuff that's pretty easy to work on, but
Which
they're
Minoltas?
kind of hit or miss. The X370, just that one.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
just
okay.
the
it's
one
weird 'cause,
model.
you go to,
That is narrow. That's very
yeah,
narrow.
because you go to X700 and it's a whole mess. So
Yeah.
Mm.
There's a lot more electronics in the 700, right?
Yeah,
and
there
that's
is.
the issue, and they're not made to last. I think, right? Some of those things they're just.
Minolta's pretty good about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I mean, most professional stuff is built well and meant to be serviced,
Yeah.
and so those are funner to work on, it's always tedious.
No, but the details. Whenever you take something apart and you have it all spread out in front of you, it's like. I'm sorry, but my brain would break on that.
It would
just
melt.
yeah, it would melt. It would melt. But you just have it out there and just go, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
It's fixed.
So only camera repairs, or do you also do lens repairs too?
I try to stay away from lens repairs mainly because of just the intensity of like the equipment that you need to properly do it. Because I do pride myself in doing it at least proper, and it might not be the best factory spec, but if I
It
can't
works,
do it
yeah.
properly, then yeah, I just don't want to. I just don't do it.
Well, that's
So
understood. I mean, yeah, you have to stick with what you
lenses-
know.
Yeah, lenses are just one of those things where the equipment needed to properly work on it is just too much. So.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you is because one time I tell people that if they are in Houston or visiting from Houston or going to Houston, I said drop by your store and check out the times that you are, because you're right, you're there for 3 days, but you get so much stuff to fix that it does take up the rest of your time. But I do tell people if they have something to repair, if you're visiting Houston, drop it off there. You don't really take in mail-ins because
Yeah, I don't do mail-ins, mainly because, again, Houston's a big city, and so the way I limit my, workload is to just limit it to local. only.
Well, which is great. I
That
think
sounds
that's
much
fine.
like somebody else who only sells locally too. If only I knew someone who doesn't do online ordering.
Yes. The funny thing about that is that people are sitting there going, stop showing us that stuff.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm in New York. I can't get it. I can't
Yeah.
drop by and see you.
Mm-hmm.
And they love seeing it, but it really bugs them because they can't come in and just buy it.
Yeah. So when
And-
you're either the first person with something or the last person with something, like the FP 3000B,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
people probably wanted to buy that online as quick as they could, right?
Well, yeah,
that
online
wasn't
I could have
happening.
sold it all. But what I try to do is, again, my whole thing is to build up the analog community in the DFW area. And so to do that, I have to have things for the people in the DFW area
Right.
to come in and see and buy. And if I'm constantly, there's several things in which which I could have sold out online like that. But then everybody coming in would go, so
Yeah.
just help the locals, keep it local,
Yeah.
and that way build the base.
And,
And
another
that's-
thing is that people don't realize how much eBay and stuff takes. It's like
Oh.
20%,
It's
30%.
quite a
Yeah.
percentage.
And
Well,
so-
he
And the
knows because
time.
of credit card processing.
Yeah.
eBay is just as bad.
It's
just
worse. But not only that, the time you have to take the picture, the time you have to answer questions, the time, and you're the only person working at your location,
Yep.
right?
The
So-
time to pack and ship and everything. else.
Everything. And the same thing. I'm the only one working here. My dad comes in and does things and has fun, and
He does?
Yeah. Oh well, he doesn't show it.
Oh, yeah.
He does, it's deep internal. That is, but-
He has anger and chuckle.
Yep. Oh yeah, and so it's a lot of work just to handle this, and so I totally understand on that regard.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming up though. I mean, because spent a lot of time in the back, walking around, marking what's on boxes, which I found a whole box of markers just about an hour ago.
Could have used those
Could have
days
used
ago.
those earlier today, and found a bunch of Olympus stuff. And a guy walks in and goes, "Hey, I'm looking for it." Pop up and go, "Hey, I just saw some." Went back, picked them out, sold 3 lenses.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
So
So your knowledge of the equipment is very broad because you see it constantly daily.
Yeah.
The
And,
variety of things.
You know, another thing is I also sell stuff as well.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
Right, and your store hours are when?
Friday to Sunday,
Uh-huh.
right? Friday to Saturday is 11 to 5, and Sunday is 12 to 4.
12 to 4. And so you can actually go in person and talk to you and buy stuff. Now, you mainly have cameras, but you also have
Well, yeah, I have lenses as well.
Yeah, lenses, cameras,
in fact,
tripods.
I've bought a whole bunch to repair and put in the display case recently. So
Very good. And you're
Hopefully, yeah.
constantly selling things. You have a
Mhm,
good,
yeah.
strong following in Houston, don't you?
yeah, I mean,
Whenever I was there, I think 5, 10, 15 people walked by and were talking to you. So we're constantly having to step back, let you work with the people, and then when they left, step back in and talk. So
I have the same
constant.
problem here. Come on now.
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
it's your location was only like
yeah, it was.
it was
Maybe one glass case. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, basically for like this one glass case back to the wall. Basically, there wasn't that. Yeah,
Just a booth.
just a
Yeah,
booth.
that's what I started off with.
Yeah.
And now-
how big is it now?
Well, the shop
But-
space, the shop space is about the same size, but
Oh, yeah.
now I have an actual storage space and a workspace.
There
so.
you go. But you still your followers still followed you and found you and moved.
Yeah.
Whenever you moved, and you've moved how many times?
Oh man, every year.
And that's what
This
you're
time,
hoping is
yeah.
your customers follow you.
Well, follow me over. First of all, I've gotten like 5 or 6. When do you open?
If I found the
I-
place, they can find the place.
They
That's-
can. They'll find it. They'll find it. It'll take a few weeks.
And I'm surprised
So-
how many people came today. Even when I was.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, he's packing. So I was there almost
surprised,
Saturday. He's packing up people who are still showing up. So
Yeah, well,
they
yes.
apparently didn't get the message.
No. But
The phone kept ringing.
do you have any? No, sorry, I'm closed.
See, what
Yeah.
we really need to do is find out how to change your address on Instagram because I noticed
Oh
that's
my
wrong
gosh!
too. So.
Yes, I got to do
Um,
that. See, I got a list of things I got to do.
He has a list of things to do.
Yeah, that one's fairly easy. I think it's Google that sometimes takes a little while.
It takes
That-
a while
That one's
because
gonna stick.
Google, okay, which means it needs to be changed. Google acts on your website more than it acts off of Instagram, I think. Or,
Well, I'll change that tonight,
yeah.
and that'll be.
Because I think, I had a lot of problems with the hours being wrong.
Yeah, I fixed that too.
Yeah.
They immediately then fixed it on Google after
Oh,
that.
that's good.
Yeah, so they follow the website over the other things,
All right,
which is interesting.
but back to Riley.
yeah,
So let's
sorry.
say I
mean, you came all the way up here.
let's say I wanted to jump into film photography and I wanted to get myself a nice shiny new SLR. What would you recommend? Canon, Nikon, Olympus, Pentax?
At the
Now you know what he shoots. So
No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about
I don't
that.
want to
'cause
influence you.
I also know he sells a lot of Canons too, so.
at the end of the day, they're all tools,
Yeah, that's true.
to take photos, and so you
Yep,
really,
they're-
you pick one that you like, and you really can't go wrong.
That's an
But
excellent answer.
I would,
But that's what-
I
yeah.
would look for something with at least a light meter. right?
Okay.
And usually I would recommend something with maybe an auto program mode, so that way you can start off on, relying on the camera, and then eventually move on to manual shutter speeds and
Right.
manual aperture, and then, learn how to use the camera, and so.
Yeah, and whenever in order to learn to use the camera, it has to be manual functions. You have to be able
Right,
to
you have
set
to be
everything.
able to, yeah, so no full auto.
Manual focus, manual shutter, manual aperture.
At least the ability to do
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
right? Because some of the really low-end cameras don't have, manual shutter speed, so.
No, the point and shoots don't. Then a lot of people love those, but whenever you go higher up the food chain, the photographers that shoot like the $10,000-$15,000 setups, it's all manual. Everything's 100% manual in that. And wanted to ask you, we have a camera here that has a Canon AE1 program. Wanted to show you this camera, and I want you to, like, if you get this camera, somebody comes into the store and says, here, we have this camera, and I want to have it CLA'd, serviced.
Please.
What would you normally check to see what works and not? How do you check the camera out to see what needs to be repaired?
Oh,
What's your process in this?
So I would do a basic function test, right? Just to see if there's anything really, really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I don't really even bother because I just
take
it apart and literally go through every little thing. That's probably typically problematic because as these cameras get older and older, the repairs get more and more intense.
Right.
And so some of the things that the old timers used to be able to get away with, like say increasing the shutter tension or just tweaking things here and there, just doesn't work anymore. And so
because it's already been done, right?
It's already been done, and now it's even older.
Yeah.
And so I actually take these down to the shutter unit because these are mass-produced cameras, and so the lowest denominator that you can get to is the shutter unit, and then I actually do take apart a little bit of the shutter unit to replace some bushings that are all completely gone.
Yeah.
And so.
So the rubber parts are the worst.
Tends to be, yeah. Not always, but that is an issue, and
Now fire that one. Cock it. Fire that one.
Does actually fire?
Oh, I love that sound. I
Yeah,
wish my
so-
Nikon
What is
squeaked
that?
like that.
What does that sound?
That
tell you?
is commonly misnomered as the Canon shutter squeal, but it is actually the Canon mirror squeal because there are gears that slows down the mirror mechanism, and it's made of the gears are made of plastic, the shafts are metal, I think, and so lubricants dry up and it makes that.
So it's not
I
the
didn't
shutter,
know
but
that.
it's the mirror. But no one thinks to say
you
the
fi-
mirror.
He
is
fixed
squeaking.
it right there. You just fixed it.
Ah,
now it's
Man,
broken
so-
again.
It's still squeaking.
But
Yeah.
that is called the Canon squeak. And this thing right here is, I like that approach though. The simple fact that it's like, oh, I'm going to take it apart anyway. So
Right.
at that point, it doesn't matter because everything's going to be looked over. Everything's going to be checked out, and everything's going to be just brought up to specs, basically.
Yeah. Now I'm not
And-
here to self-promote, so
No.
the thing about
but the thing of it is that this is what you do, and this is what different than others, because some people just take a little syringe and just drop a little
yeah,
oil
that's
in.
what I was gonna get to.
Yeah,
is,
yeah, so, yeah.
Some people on the internet, right?
Yeah,
Especially
some people, and you
YouTube.
know who you are.
Yeah.
So here's the difference in the camera, if I may.
Sure.
So here's the difference in the three of us. I'm going to take. Todd's going to take the camera. I'm going to
Yeah.
speak for Todd. He's going to put it on the 1 second, and he's going to test the 1 second mark.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up this camera, and I'm going to immediately see if it's got film in it.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, you're just going to start taking it apart.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again,
I love it.
I do
That's
some
great.
basic, function tests just
Yeah.
to make sure there's no surprises because I've had those happen before,
Yeah.
right? Like I start taking it apart, put it back together, and then it turns out there's some major wrong
Yeah.
with the camera that I didn't notice, and so.
Yeah, and it's just really there's like I said, Riley brought me one. No, you brought me one this morning.
Oh yeah, I did.
Thank you, and I greatly appreciate that. And whenever you fire it, it just should have thought of having it here because the sound of one, and you can tell the
The
difference.
sound of one hand clapping.
Yep, the sound of one that has been taken apart and redone instead of just the quick fixes is so much better.
Oh yeah.
You can tell by the sound that it's been thoroughly cleaned and not just patchwork cleaned.
Oh, thank you.
And you know, I have sent because otherwise I would be sending a lot of things to you to get fixed, and you would be going stop. But I've been sending them off to a fellow in Pennsylvania, and same thing, takes them apart and puts them back together again. Whenever I fire it, you hear that solid sound. I mean, it's just a solid movement sound.
Right.
And you can see the difference in the mirror too.
Did you
Because-
make that mirror squeak again?
Yeah, but you can tell the mirror's slow. in
Yeah,
this.
which, contrary to popular belief, right, because it is the mirror that's making that squeak
Yeah.
and it's slow, it doesn't actually affect the pictures that you take.
No.
It's just,
No.
not very,
If
doesn't
you,
feel right, and it doesn't feel very good to sell it like that or, use it like that, but you
Yeah.
can use it, right? It's better
Oh,
than
yeah.
squirting oil into it, that's for
yes,
sure.
yes.
So,
Because the curtain doesn't move until that
the
mirror's
mirror is all the way up.
all the
So-
way up. So it doesn't affect the camera, but if you don't fix the camera, that will eventually, I have heard that it will eventually rub together and just freeze,
Seize up.
seize up. And,
Probably, but
And
that
then you
would
need
be
yourself a
factory.
welder and a machinist and all that
somebody
kind of
just
stuff.
take it apart like a truck.
So, camera repair. What is the death knell of a camera? I mean, what kind of a repair can you not fix?
So-
if this thing was brought to you, and what would be broken on it to where you go, sorry.
Sorry, this one
Very-
this one is now parts.
It's parts.
Yeah.
So there's a fine line between, modern camera that has all the features that you want, cameras that has the features that you want but are slightly older, and then, old school, just purely mechanical cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
The oldest purely mechanical stuff, most of the stuff you can, if you have enough money and if you have enough willpower, I can machine stuff, someone
Yeah.
else can machine stuff, you can fix it, right?
Yeah.
This era of stuff, most of the components are simple enough to be able to be fixed. But there are certain things like, say, proprietary, integrated chip, right?
Yeah.
You can't really make that anymore. There are some spare parts laying around and you
Mm-hmm.
can replace it, but it's not something that's, very feasible.
That's another thing
And-
that distinguishes you from other repair people. You actually can make parts that are the metal in here
Yeah, to an extent.
to an extent,
Right.
but just even to the extent, it's far more than what most repair people can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is again one of the reasons why when you get something repaired, you're going to feel and hear and tell the difference because it's just there's a level of that work that you put into it that I always tell people that you can tell. I mean, the camera just feels better, acts better, sounds better.
But,
That whenever it's had proper attention paid to it.
Yeah, and then, one
This
last
one
thing.
needs attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so one last thing is, the latest, film cameras, right? Those with particularly the Copal and Citizen Seiko vertical shutters.
Mhm.
Those, right? Once you poke poke a finger through that, those
Oh,
blades,
the-
right? Those
the
vertical
blades.
Oh,
blades.
yeah. It's
It's
gone.
done for. We
Yeah.
only have so many spare parts left.
Yeah.
And so there's hundreds of Nikon FM2s, Mamiya 645 AFs, right? Those things,
Mhm.
once we run out of parts, that's it. We can't make them. It's just too complex. And, I'm sure if you really, really put your mind to it, there's someone out there that's crazy enough to,
To make the
yeah,
parts.
ask
Well,
China
you
to
essentially
make
need
it
a
or
donor
something.
camera at that point.
Yeah.
Right,
donor
yeah.
cameras are
I
actually
mean, donor
better.
cameras make sense in, even in situations where you can make the part, but,
But that's why I brought all of those boxes down to you because I figured that even if they didn't work, you could use them for
yeah,
parts.
one way or another.
Well, yeah, they will get recycled.
Frankenstein some cameras together.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, there's a fine line and a balance between a camera with features that you want, like say
Mm-hmm.
auto mode and whatnot, and a camera that can be infinitely repaired, like say like a 3C or something, right? And so, you know.
Now, when you were going through the back, well, we were
So is there like a limit or range for the cameras that you repair? I'm thinking, for example, that I've got a Nikon F100 and an F6, and those are autofocus cameras. Obviously, a lot more functionality built into the cameras. Are those repairable, or are they like a lot less repairable because there's more electronics?
So it's parts swappable, right? But once you get to that era, even the calibration and things that done through like computers and whatnot, which, you know, we don't have some of us doesn't have the software for, right? There are some old school, you know, prior factory techs that has those tools, but yeah, you definitely do go into, you know, unserviceable territory. Although you can, you know, swap parts and stuff.
Is there anybody else in the Houston area doing camera repairs?
Not film. That I know of.
And see, you have then a distinct little niche.
Yeah, I really do, and I wish I could help more, but you know,
you're just
one person, so there's only so much.
Have you ever thought about taking somebody on and training them, or is that just what? Because I mean, that would be spending a lot of time.
A lot of time, and you know, relatively a lot of money for.
Yeah, and once they got good enough, they're going to leave you and just be your competition.
I mean, I wouldn't care about that because then, you know, that's just,
are there that many cameras? There's just so many cameras to repair. Does it really
nowadays,
matter?
now that I've, you know, been in business for 4 years or so, it's that much business. But
yeah. Now you don't know this, but really part of the reason why I did drive down there is because there's a place I stop and eat in the middle. It's like I always had to have an excuse to be able to go down there and eat. And I can't even think of the.
I'm pretty sure it has barbecue in the name.
Yes, it's Country Cousins Barbecue. So I was like, yes, I make the trip, eat there, and it's like, okay, thank you. That's my reason. Now I'm going to go down to Houston. And it helped prepare me for the Houston traffic. Although, whenever I went down there the first time, traffic really wasn't that bad, oddly enough. Of course, I forgot what day, Sunday I went down.
Yeah, as long as there's no accidents.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And that's when you just pull out the things, it's routes around the accident.
So what do you shoot?
When you're out on it every day.
Well, that's the thing, right?
See, I'm gonna eventually get to personal questions here. What do you shoot?
Well, honestly, I'm so darn busy that I just don't have the time to go shoot. But yeah, but I do.
Our audience doesn't think so. It thinks there's an answer in there somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, but I do like my Nikons, and you know, I do like my 6x6s, and so.
So you medium format. You don't shoot large format?
I do have a large format. I do use it a lot, but I only shoot Instax wide through it. So. Yeah, I don't have. I don't have the time to, you know, sit in the darkroom and develop those 4x5, and so.
Oh yeah. Because do you develop your own film?
Just black and white, right? Because color chemicals, they just go bad so quick.
True.
So,
yeah, you have to be ready to do.
Yeah, I just have
your 25 rolls.
Yeah, I just have a bottle of Rodinal sitting in my fridge that I just.
See, that lasts a long time. Yeah. Eventually, I will have that back in stock, and now I will actually have a place to put it. But man, I sold bunches of bottles of Rodinal, and now that I have a bigger display area, I'm going to buy bunches of it. Now I just got to get money. But yeah, this is there are a lot of people out there doing a lot of their own developing. Now, the first time I dropped by, you had 1 or 2 or 3 places that were using you as a drop-off point for film.
Yeah.
Do you still do that?
I no longer don't, unfortunately, but I still do refer customers to, you know.
Yeah, because just being open 3 days maybe not.
Yeah, that, and also
takes time.
Again, Houston, right? Big city. And so driving from one place to another, even, you know, regardless of whether it's for the customer or the employees picking it up, right? It's just
it's a long time.
Yeah. So
well, I tell you what, I
tell you what.
It's you have any other questions? It's been very
I can keep asking questions.
Yeah,
There's plenty of questions.
All day long, so.
We've got hours and hours of videoing here.
But my stomach's saying different.
Well, whose fault is that? So, I mean, I know in the older days they probably said to have cameras serviced at least one or every 2 years, but now of course cameras are only getting serviced once in a blue moon now. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say just keep using it until it stops working.
I mean, what would be some good care tips you would give people for
Preventive.
You know, as
preventative?
much as fun as it is, don't take your cameras to the beach.
At
'cause
the beach?
Yeah,
that is a horrible place.
sand,
and I have done it. So
salt, yeah, it's everything you don't want in a camera all in one place.
sand and salt
And moisture.
And water, yeah.
and water. Stay away from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I took my cameras to where were we? I
Dallas?
I think we were like on one of those little rivers where you could you can only walk into about a foot deep. But I had a bag full of cameras, and we were walking out there, and the rocks had slippery moss in it, and I went ass over tea kettle, and
Did you?
the bag unfortunately was only waterproof on the outside. When you're on your back and the water's flooding in from the other side. Good times.
Good times. Good
But the
times.
cameras were fine.
Yeah.
However, I was not happy after that.
You were lucky.
So you're right. Water is not a good thing.
Right.
Beach is not a good thing.
Another pet peeve is to, lens cases, right? Those fuzzy lens cases are meant
Oh,
for travel,
yeah,
not
yeah.
for, storage.
Storage.
And so if you keep it in for enough time, then it will collect moisture and eventually grow fungus. So
Yeah,
Mm.
so just
Fungus.
yeah, that's very true. Now, okay, donkey bags. You're familiar with those?
yeah.
Did you say donkey bags?
Donkey.
Domke?
Oh yeah.
Domke.
Yeah, that's what I thought you
Now,
said.
Jim Domke, who created that, actually lives in the DFW area. now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had two bags that were almost identical, but so many differences. It was hilarious. As customers saw this and goes, I know Jim. I want him to come in here and look at these. And another person videoed the event, but never did anything with it. But what
shame.
Jim said, this is the interesting part. He said that he did research on this, and the type of canvas he uses for that, keeps the moisture off the cameras. That canvas style, it's a certain type of canvas. And he said the design keeps the moisture away from the cameras, and that is good for sort of a storage.
Yeah.
But for other things, it holds the moisture in. People have brought things to me, set it down, and go, it's been in the closet for 20 years. Yeah, you pull it out, and there's fungus, but there's no moisture. Yeah.
So another one then. So camera grips that get sticky.
Yeah.
What's your solution?
that's-
And it's not baby wipes, I'm sure.
No, it's not maybe because
so-
we've tested that theory.
Yeah, alcohol and isopropyl alcohol and
Now, I've
a
heard-
crap load of
I've heard 90 is better than 70 on the alcohol.
probably
alcohol.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just percentage of water to actual alcohol.
Well,
so.
somebody said that 90 cleans it up quicker than the 70%.
I mean, yeah, it's got more alcohol in it.
Yeah,
So. Yeah, and then maybe Windex, right? If
Yeah.
it's something real sensitive. But you need a lot of paper towels or
Oh.
wipes to get it off.
I mean, it's mostly the newer cameras, like when it got towards the digitals and things like that, because they had a lot of rubber. The leather end is not as bad.
90s to 2000s was when it was epidemic.
Yeah.
Right? But it's a huge range of.
So alcohol and a lot of patience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now keep in mind, right? You do want to be careful where you're getting that alcohol off. of,
Oh,
yeah. That is one way to get it off.
Do you cringe when you see somebody who has reskinned a camera and painted it different colors?
I mean, not at all. At the end of the day, right? These are mass produced.
They
Yeah.
are. They are.
Uh,
They are. I've seen some that
pieces,
look
yeah.
absolutely beautiful. I've seen some that I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, yep. That's-
I mean, so long as it still works, I guess that's
Yeah,
great.
I mean,
It's
it's your
all-
camera. Do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Sure.
there it is. And yeah, I've seen some of them that were really cool looking.
I know you're super busy, but do you do any videos or Instagram posts and things like
Yeah.
that showing
I-
how you're repairing cameras?
I wish I could, but no, unfortunately, I don't.
No,
I've thought
seen,
about, yeah.
I've seen some of your things on Instagram.
A little
where-
bit, yeah. Every now and then I make some posts here and there.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I watch those and I go,
That's probably my
How
camera.
do you do that? How do you do that? And it's like you just have this table full of parts, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
And one last thing regarding maintenance would probably be
Yeah.
to, if you never know when it's the last time you're gonna use your camera.
Yeah, never
and
know.
So
Take
take the batteries out. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
the battery corrosion. That's probably
Oh, yeah.
one of
whether
the
it's
number one.
leaks or expansion, right? Neither
Yeah.
are good, and so just take it out. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times the corrosion will get up into the wires, up into
Yeah,
the
it
system.
creeps up, and so even
Yeah.
if it looks fine on the contacts, the wires are probably done for if it's leaked for a little while. So.
And is it easy to repair those or replace the wires, or is that just not worth it?
So it depends on how
Yeah.
long it's had it, because I can replace the wires, but so sometimes it's bad enough to where it creeps up the wire and then into the PCB.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yeah, at that point, wow, yeah.
Wow.
The camera's
yeah.
definitely infected then. It's
What is the one camera? Do you have one camera that you took apart and went, holy crap? That wasn't like it just blew your mind how bad it was.
Cameras with like flex PCB. So later
Mm-hmm.
like N90 or
Oh,
yeah, the L35
The
AF,
plastic part?
yeah, point and shoot stuff like that tend to use flexible circuit boards, and those when it creeps up, it's tough.
Oh yeah, I imagine you open them and just go
Yeah.
and just put a cloth over it and said, I'm sorry, but it didn't survive.
And yeah, and so I repair,
Push it back to them,
and I repaired the L35 AF2s, and
you sell every single one.
yeah,
of those. I
and
mean, it's just
those
yeah.
when the battery leaks, it actually affects the fiber reinforced plastic. It crumbles the plastic itself too. It's crazy.
yeah.
And so,
But so I do watch that part. It's like for sale, no, sold. It's just like up, gone, up, gone, up. Gone. You have to be there and get it quickly, because they sell quickly.
yeah,
It
because
seems like.
people want the reliability of
Yeah.
a service camera, and so.
Yeah.
so you do the SLRs. What about like the SX70s? Do you do instance?
Every now and then, I will work on them, but the SX70s are a tricky camera.
Do you follow anybody that does those repairs on the SX70s?
Have
Have you followed like Zane Pollard on that?
No,
Zane,
I don't think so.
Zane is like he's an engineer by day and a repair person by night.
Mechanic by night.
Mechanic by night, and he is phenomenal. He is with SX70s as you are with cameras. I mean, he will. I don't know. He'll replace the motherboard.
Oh, is he the open SX70 guy?
Yeah,
Oh,
open
wow.
source SX70. Yeah,
That's
he's part of that.
Yeah, he's part of the group. Part of the group. But he will take that out. He will fix it, improve a lot of the parts in it, and then reskin it and change it to where it shoots 600 film instead of
Because
70.
the 600 is easier to get, right?
It's, yeah.
I used to
But-
do that, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's one thing. So
Yeah,
infrared cut filters, those blue ones, tend to just oxidize. No matter who the manufacturer is, they almost always oxidize, and I have to cut it out, clean it, put it back, and it's probably gonna do the same thing again in 20 years, and so.
Yeah.
I won't be around. I don't think I'll be shooting.
But my own.
He leaves a small note. Riley was here.
Riley was there, yeah. But
Sometimes I do that, but yeah.
that's hilarious, because that's exactly what Zane said. The IR, he says, when you get an SX70 and it hasn't been serviced in a long time, just get it fixed. Service it, because that when it gets corroded, it doesn't measure the lighting.
Right.
It throws everything off, and that's exactly the same thing.
Right.
That's the thing that goes bad first.
Yeah.
One of the things.
So I don't consider rangefinders, Leicas, things like that. Those as well, or
Yeah,
they,
every now and
I mean, I know there's some Leica specialists out there in this world, and that's I don't know if that's a niche type thing for repairs.
Yeah, so there's plenty already, so I tend to stay away. Another thing is, I don't want them to hear, I guess, well...
Cover your ears.
Yeah, cover your ears, but, like a customers, right? They're a little hard to work with.
A Leica snob.
So,
Come on now.
I tend to keep it to people I trust,
Yeah.
right? I have to trust the customer just as much as the customer trusts me.
So
Yeah.
when they
With those kind of
bring
stuff.
you
So-
they're Leica, you say shh, don't tell anybody you brought it here. Just don't.
Yeah, I just don't. Here's
But,
20 bucks.
between
Keep
us.
quiet. Keep quiet.
Yeah, the biggest downside to those is that parts prices, right? The
Yeah.
parts are just as pricey as the camera itself, and so that's the biggest reason, right? Besides the customer, that I tend to stay away from Leica stuff, but I do one every now and then.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if it's for me to sell. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Yes. Now you will buy them that need repair to fix them and sell them.
yeah, I mean it's how I
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the biggest profit margin that way.
I
so.
will fix it for myself. And that's why my dad. So that's what my dad tells people. He says, "Oh, you work on cameras?" He says,
Nope.
"Nope, just the ones I own. If I screw it up, it's
Yeah,
I screw it up."
So
And he does the same thing. Well, is there anything else you want to tell us about the repair industry in the Houston area, or just in general?
shoot, I don't know.
All right.
Right, because there is right to repair stuff regarding new stuff,
Oh,
but
my.
I don't work on new stuff. So
Yeah. What do you
Not
think?
new stuff?
The whole
That's right.
the Pentax coming out with a new camera and
yeah, that's
and,
exciting.
and the lomography coming out with the camera. The
Mint.
Mint.
Yeah, Mint. Over in
Sorry.
Hong Kong or Taiwan, I forget. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh right, and I'm on that mailing list for the new Rolly 35
that's
autofocus. So
exciting.
I think they said that camera's going to be in a range of like $600 to $800,
Which is reasonable.
And it looks
Yeah.
like the original, which I've got one I was shooting around with, so kind of looking forward to it. I might actually just go ahead and grab one because since they put me on the special list of 500.
The list.
A 500.
Not a list.
The list.
Yeah.
Well, Riley, we appreciate it very much, but we're
Yeah.
gonna talk about a few other things and love to have your comments on these because I love some news.
Yes.
You like news?
I love news.
You like news?
Good
okay,
news,
so
bad news.
and well,
What I really like are
particularly funny news.
okay. Let's hear it.
All right. Well, this one was from. Here's the news, guys, and this is one from DIY Photography. The headline is, "We can never really emulate the old film look, and here is why." This person wrote the entire article. Would you like to know the reason why we can't emulate film with a digital camera?
Because it's not film.
Because you can't go back in time and take pictures of old cars, old clothes, old people, old colors. It's like, ugh. It's like, really, you wrote a whole article for that.
We like making fun of
So
some
I guess
stories.
if you can do a little cosplay and you get the old antique cars and you can dress the people up with the hairdos and all that kind of good stuff and you get some sort of probably use something like the Lomochrome turquoise or something like
Oh,
that. You
yeah,
get all
yeah.
the colors the same.
Yeah.
But then again, you'd be using film. And you wouldn't need to emulate it. So
Yeah. True. True.
you wouldn't be needing to emulate it at all. So yeah. I was going to talk about the Rolly 35 autofocus. They haven't said really when it's coming out yet.
My guess.
But they're still saying I think this year though.
My guess is it's going to be after the Pentax.
I don't know.
The race is on, right?
They already have pictures of the.
They already have pictures of the
Rolly,
camera.
Yeah, and it looks really fine and
But
polished.
that's the outside. I mean,
yeah, but you can tell, right, with the Pentax one, right?
well, the Pentax. I haven't seen a picture of the actual Pentax one that's coming out because they haven't done it.
Well, they showed off the advanced lever, but
Yeah,
can tell
so the
it's
Rolly.
3D printed, and it's a prototype. But
Yeah.
that Rolly one, that's polished.
They're Rolly.
That's
Yeah.
very-
It's
I don't
looking like
see
the
any 3D
original
printed
one.
parts on it, and it's.
Huh. I
think
wonder
it's
if I got
almost
some of those old ones back there.
I'm sure you do.
You had a chance to go back and see the belly of the beast. What most people don't see.
Oh man, yeah.
That's for employees only. I'm
Employees
still not
only.
quite sure how we got back there.
Oh, well, it's all right. You snuck past me. But what did you think of it?
Crazy.
And it's still not everything.
No.
I know. I've seen both. I've been to the.
You've seen what's left.
Yeah,
and you've
I've
seen
seen
it's like,
what's-
he's got no more room.
A little worried for you. Honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, but I got 3 more days.
Yeah.
3 more
yeah,
days.
3 more days.
Now, so at some point, the electricity is going to go out over there. So I'm only have
They're
one
going to
or
turn the
two.
water off.
Well, I can live without that.
Your squatters' rights are going to be
yeah
lifted.
Gone.
Yes,
right.
I also see that you have some expired film here.
Yes.
So I'm going to be taking home some of your T-Max here.
Okay.
Which I see is expired in 2016. Not terribly bad.
No, not for
It looks
black
good.
and white.
But of course, what I really like is the Portra 400 VC, vivid color. That's my
Colors.
favorite.
Really?
And if you notice, Kodak's even an Olympic sponsor on this one because it's that old.
Wow. So 60. That was that?
I'm
no.
thinking about 2000.
You can always tell. So the thing with the Kodak logo is you can always tell when you look at the D, right? If that D has that little thing sticking out, then it's pre-bankruptcy. I think.
Oh, a little inside. Well,
Yeah.
we did not know that.
So
KLD.
if it's thumbing a ride, then it's after bankruptcy.
If there's a little
So-
part down there at the bottom which sticks
Yeah,
out.
So look
this
at-
is
look
the
at
new
this one.
logo. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's rounded. See.
Okay, all right.
It's a straight line. It's rounded.
Oh, I see. It's
So-
got a little foot on it.
This, to prop it up.
Yeah, to keep
Now
it
it's
propped
just could just roll right over. That I did not see.
Your
love
next
things like that.
Kodak shipment's going to be late, by the way.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I have.
it was bound to happen.
I have made them not happy with me a few times.
really?
Oh, yeah. That's another story.
Yes, it is. Well, guys, that is going to be it for us. Riley, thank you very much for giving us some insights.
Oh,
where
yeah.
where can they find you in Houston?
Oh,
Yeah. Where's
it
your
is-
current location?
Yeah, it's 5011 Navigation Boulevard,
Yeah.
and I am on the second floor. Yeah.
But verify before you go because this is what your fifth location.
Yeah, but
For-
I'll be there for a little while.
Oh, good,
Website or social media?
If you Google Riley's camera, then it'll pop up on the
It'll
first
pop up.
result. So.
And
Good, great.
look for that in the description below because I'm going to have all that down there, so
Yeah,
you'll be able to
yeah.
just click on something and go right to it. And I'm pretty. Is he not on one of your recommendation pages of?
No,
No?
because
Well,
I don't
Yeah, 'cause
have.
I don't take mail-ins. so,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we can put. Don't take mail-ins, but at least put you. Put
No,
some-
no, I tell people in person. I say, hey, if you're going to be down there, if you're going to do this,
If you're going to be down in Houston, barbecue
by.
first, Riley
yeah,
second.
That's exactly.
I know
it.
Todd. That's his,
Yeah, that's hey, my priority.
You might as well go full.
Yep.
You could be at Riley's a while.
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
oh,
cameras.
absolutely. Yeah, and the talking. I just
Alright.
had a fun time talking. wherever
Absolutely.
I visited.
And guys, hope you had a great time. So we're gonna cut it short here.
Yep, that's
Thank you very
short.
much. Please do share, like,
Yeah.
subscribe,
tell it everywhere. Shout
tell a
it.
friend, tell two friends.
Yeah, especially that we've moved. That
Hey, did
really-
you move?
We moved.
You moved.
And people still aren't up. You know.
They're gonna figure out.
Eventually.
All right, guys, we're out of here.
Thanks. Bye bye.
All right,
Take care.
This is where we're gonna get up,
Yep,
and
everything's
we're
gonna
gonna
leave.
exit.
Yep.
That
Oh, my
direction.
Goodness. I should have brought your camera up here to show the difference in the sound. But I didn't.